Hey guys, this is E10 Sun from SunBros. Today I'm really excited to be bringing you guys this brand new video. But before we get started with that, I want to make sure I remind you guys on how to get entered in for a chance to win our guaranteed skin giveaways that we do every Sunday night during our 1-hour question and answer live stream. All you gotta do is make sure you're subscribed to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and comment below with your in-game name and which skin you'd like to receive on either the NA or EU servers under 700 vouchers. And remember, the more videos that you do this with that are uploaded each week, the higher chance you have to win. Alright guys, welcome to the Marja how to build video. I am really excited about this one because I really enjoy building new heroes when they first come out. It's more challenging, it kind of gives you more more things to think about and stuff like that because you don't have a ton of experience playing with and or against these heroes. And the first thing that stands out to me about Marja is that she's not especially strong in the damage department, so we have to figure out a way to compensate with that. And that's what we're going to attempt to do. Now, we're going to be starting, as always, on the hero page so we can go over her abilities and a little bit about who she is to best figure out how to build her and make her as useful to the team and as potent as we possibly can. Alright guys, Marja's passive is Shadow Leech. After Marja takes damage, she restores her HP and reduces enemy movement speed by 20% for 2 seconds with each normal attack and ability hit. So she has to take damage in order to be able to restore HP and reduce the enemy movement speed. Her first ability is Dark Pulse. Marja unleashes a shockwave dealing 350 plus magic damage to enemies hit and reduces their movement speed by 40% for 2 seconds. It's a pretty decent slow, but nothing really substantial. The cooldown starts at 8 seconds and goes down to 6. Now, the base damage does go up to 800 at level the base damage does go up to level 800 damage at level 6, but that's not really anything substantial either. And the scaling on this isn't anything too grand either. Now, we'll do a test at the end of this to kind of show you guys what the scaling is. Now, Marja summons a Soul Devourer to attack the enemy, dealing 350 base, and then it goes up to 700. And the cooldown is 5 seconds across the board. And then her ultimate, Ghost Walk, Marja turns into a phantom, increasing her movement speed by 30% and becoming immune to all damage. And really, she becomes untargetable, so she can't be crowd controlled either. For 2 seconds, she deals damage going in and out of her Ghost Walk. The base damage, it says 50, 120, 190, but the base damage on the ability says 300, so I'm not sure what's up with that. The cooldown is 24 seconds. So we're going to take her into a trial mode real quick, just to give you guys an idea of how she scales. Alright, now we've gone ahead and we've taken Marja into a trial game, and we've discovered that her scaling for level 1 is 0.52 or 52%. Her scaling for level 2 is 0.55, and her scaling for her ultimate is 0.45. So the scaling is not great, and the base is not really great either. So that is kind of the reason and point why Marja's abilities don't do that much damage, and she doesn't do that much damage as a whole, which is something we're going to have to adjust for and think about when we're building her. Her cooldowns aren't bad, 8 to 6, 5 across the board, and 24, but we'll probably still build some cooldown reduction in order to best maximize her as a whole. Alright, so here we go with building Marja, and we're going to be starting, of course, in the magic section. And the item that I think makes the most sense to start with Marja is going to be Orb of the Magi, because a couple different reasons. Number one, the 10% cooldown reduction is really nice to have. We want to try to get as much as we can because Marja's ultimate is a big key, that we want to focus on as far as who she is as a hero, and reducing the cooldown on that is going to be really key to what we do. We also get we get 1100 HP when over the Magi over the course of after 5 minutes of having it. That's the passive bide. So we're going to gain 120 ability power and 1100 HP after 5 full minutes. That's how the stacks work. And the ability power is going to get to 260, and the cooldown is 10%, and the HP gets to 1100. Additionally, we get the mana doesn't matter because Marja has no mana, but we get 20% of her HP restored over 3 seconds every time she levels up, which is really nice because Marja is a hero that really shouldn't back too often. With her natural healing, throw in the Orb of the Magi healing, and then throw in all the other components about her, and it doesn't really make sense. Next, we're going to be getting boots, and we're going to go ahead and go with Gilded Greaves. And the main reason is because we want a little bit of magic defense in order to really maximize. The passive is nice, but again, keep in mind that Her ultimate does make her immune and untargetable and immune to all crowd control and all damage. But so the resistance isn't as good on her as it is on other people, but it's still nice to have overall, and this is still the best item for her. Next, we're going to be going over to the magic section again, and we're going to be taking Rhea's Blessing. We're going to be getting 140 more ability power, but we're not really focusing on building damage because she doesn't scale too well. 10% more cooldown reduction, giving us 20% for the build so far. And then we're going to get, of course, the first passive is Life Shield. Gains a shield that absorbs damage, which is pretty awesome, and gonna make her better at sustaining. And then, of course, her second passive is Magic Life Steal. She's gonna get 25% of that. So that is going to combine and work really well with her passive to give her even more sustain. Now she has 1100 HP from her first item over the Magi. She has a nasty shield from this, as well as Magic Life Steal, as well as her passive, as well as her ultimate, which makes her untargetable, to really help what we want to focus on with Marja, which is survivability, so that she can best focus on dealing damage long term rather than burst mode. Okay, then we're going to be heading in a little bit of a different direction. We're going to be getting the item Apocalypse. And the reason we're going with Apocalypse here is because of the way your passive is set up, to where every time you take damage, you have to do auto attacks and abilities to get healing back and slow the enemy down. Auto attacks are a natural part of Marja's kit, and we want to maximize those by doing as much damage on her auto attacks as possible to add into her already weak damage. This helps her level out and get a little bit more damage as she goes. 200 ability power, 10% cooldown reduction, giving us 30% on the build, and then we get the passive Elemental Power. After using an ability, the next normal attack deals additional magic damage equal to 30% of the attack damage and 80% of the ability power with a 2-second cooldown. So you might be asking, what exactly does that do? Well, when we finish the build, Marja's going to have quite a bit of ability power, and her auto attacks are going to be hitting after an ability pretty hard, and it's going to help level out that damage and lack of that she has. Okay, then we're going ahead and we're going to be going with Kate's Diadem. Now this is a pure damage new. At this point in the game, we've got a little bit of survivability with some Magic Lifesteal, a shield, some HP. Kate's Item is just an absolute must to maximize as much damage as humanly possible out of Marja. 240 ability power plus 35% ability power from all the items combined. That's what we're kind of going with to get as much out of this as we can. And then last but not least, we're going to go ahead and go for the big boy item, Holy Holies, which gives us 1400 HP. That gives Marja 2500 as on a whole from our build, and it gives her another 400 ability power. And this build really emphasizes the best that we can do with Marja as far as giving her some extra damage and some survivability so that she's somewhat usable. She just lacks damage, she lacks hard crowd control, and it makes her very tough to use. Her ultimate is a really solid ability, and it helps. Now, the one thing I will say is if you guys want to swap boots out from Gilded Greaves to Flashy Boots to get that 40% cooldown reduction, I'm totally okay with that. That's something I would consider doing also. Makes her a little bit less, tanky and survivable and stuff like that, but it does give her her ultimate back more frequently, which of course is a good thing. And this build is going to give her some great damage survivability mix. Now, if we want to go to the second build I have here, this one is more about, it's just a different option that we're going to be going with. We're going to take out Over the Magi, and we're going to start with Rhea's Blessing, go to Gilded Greaves, Barris Agony, Apocalypse, Kate's Item, then Holy Holy. So we get some armor from Barris Agony, so a little bit more tanky. We get more cooldown reduction, so that doesn't really change anything. And then we deal extra damage via the passive Torture, which does 4% of the target's current HP every time you do damage with a very low 1.2 second cooldown. Not too shabby. I like this option as well. And then this is the first one that we had. So we're only giving you guys really two solid options of what to do with Marja as far as building her out to the best of our abilities. I'm not super fond of Marja so far. I think that she's below par. But this is the build that's going to help maximize you on her if you really enjoy playing her. Next, we're going to be going to Arcana. And we're going to be, that's really simple. We're going to go to the AP page and we're going to be building Violate, which is going to give her 42 ability power and 24 magic pierce. We're going to be getting her Devour, which is 24 more ability power and 10% magic lifesteal, giving her 35% when she gets Rhea's, which is nice. And then We're going to be giving her Flurry, which is more Magic Pierce and attack speed. Both of those things are useful on her. Kind of a standard Magic Pierce, Magic Lifesteal set that we're going with a pretty solid amount of ability power. Okay, that is that, and then we're going to the talents, and really the only talents I think that are fairly useful in her is Heal, again, to just help the overall survivability, sustainability. Flicker if you really want to. I don't think that's super helpful, but it could be helpful. I mean, it's helpful in anyone really if you really try to make it, but again, I'd probably take Heal or I'd take Disrupt. She's a natural tower diver because her ultimate does make her untargetable by towers also, so if you really want to go deep under a tower, using the combination of Disrupt and her ultimate can let you be down there for quite a while, so not too shabby at all. Let's go ahead and recap this build that we have, and it's going to be this one right here. Orb of the Magi, Gilded Greaves, Ria's Blessing, Apocalypse, Hecate's Item, and Holy of Holies, guys. That is our Marja build. Thank you for watching, and as always, until next time,